It is Vlogmas Day 16 and it's time to talk about some books that I wish I'd actually got around to reading this year. Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel, thank you for being here today. Today's video is a Vlogmas video. I'm uploading a new video every day in December up to and including Christmas Day, and we are now up to day number 16 and I'm going to talk about some books that I really wish I would have actually picked up this year. There were ones that like maybe were on a priority TBR list, or like ones that I just had in my head as like I would really like to read that this year. Ones that like I bought and was so excited for and then just never picked up. And actually I did this video last year, so before I go on to talk about the ones this year, I'm just gonna read through the list of the ones last year, because I did actually do quite well with making sure that I read those ones this year. So hopefully this list is gonna encourage me to read these ones next year instead. So last year's list we had We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal, which I did read, and yes, that was partly because Meg made me read it, but the point is, I read it. It's a good thing. I'm doing well so far. Then we have Song of Achilles, which is another one that Meg made me read, but this is one that I was definitely planning on reading this year anyway. I read it, I loved it, I gave it 5 stars. It's possibly going to be on my favourite books of the year list. So again, still doing well. We then have got Cinderella is Dead, which I didn't love as much as I thought I would, but I did read it. So we're doing good there. Then we come to the blip, we have Spellslinger. I still have not read that yet, it's still on my shelf like down there, but we'll breeze past that one. Empire of Gold, because I didn't want to leave too much of a gap before I finished that series. I did indeed finish that series. It was a 5-star in that series that I was hoping it would be. It ended it off very, very well. And then we have Jade City, which is a series I wanted to start, and it was actually the first book that I read in 2022, and I read the entire series in 1 week. So, you know, I did quite well last year. So hopefully we can carry that energy on this year, and these are going to be the books that I definitely read in 2023. So nothing else to say, let's just jump into it. The first one I have is one that I bought I think quite early on in the year, and I've just been wanting to read it for a while anyway. I've read quite a few books by this author this year, but I've read their novellas instead. I've just not picked up their full-length novel, even though I think I'm gonna love it. And that book is Middle Game by Shauna Maguire. I've read quite a lot of the Wayward Children books this year, and I just haven't got around to picking this one up. Like I said, I really think I'm gonna enjoy it. I don't know too much about the synopsis. I know it's about twins called Roger and Dodger, and that is literally all I know. I don't want to know too much going into it. I think it's going to be a bit weird, and I'm here for it. Some of my friends have really loved it, so hopefully I will actually get around to reading it this year. It's not hopefully, I'm gonna read it in 2023, I promise. Next up we have one that is less about me wanting to read it because I'm excited to read it, and it's more just about the fact that I own multiple copies of this book and I need to decide what I'm doing with them, because I don't actually have the highest hope for this book, I will say. The book is Book of Night by Holly Black. I own 2 copies of this because I have the Fairy Lou and the Illumicrate one. This one is the Illumicrate one, apparently. I was about to say I don't know which one it is, but then it says it right on the back. So this is the Illumicrate copy. I was clever enough to cancel the Waterstones pre-order that I had as well, because otherwise I would have had 3 copies of this book that I have not read and do not necessarily have an intention to read anytime in the very near future. But hopefully putting it on this list will make me do that. This is Holly Black's adult debut, but it feels very short for an adult fantasy, and I'm just worried that there's not going to be enough in this book to do the world building that it would need to be an adult fantasy. I really like Holly Black's YA fantasy, well, that I've read. To be honest, I've only actually read the Core Prince series, but I really enjoyed that and I was really excited for this, but I've not heard the best things, and yeah, just like something about it is making me very scared to read it, but I probably should kind of justify whether or not I should have multiple copies on my shelves. Speaking of multiple copies on shelves, we should probably move on to this one next. This one came in a subscription book back in January, I think it was, but I had pre-ordered it already and I couldn't cancel it because it was on an order to get because it was on an order where you had to spend over a certain amount to get extra points on your Waterstones card, and if I cancelled this it would have taken me under that amount. So I have the Waterstones special edition with just the regular sprayed edges, and then I had this really gorgeous Illumicrate edition, and the book is This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Moffi. I really hope I love this book because this version is stunning, and I would like to keep it on my shelves, to be honest. Even if I don't like it, I might just keep it because look at those edges. I'll just have them like displayed out. No one needs to know what the book is if I don't like it. I have actually heard quite good things about this, so I'm hoping I like it. I do like Tahira Moffi's writing. I have actually only read her YA contemporaries though. Like, I know she's most known for her fantasies like the Shatter Me series, but I haven't read it. For some reason, the book of hers that I've read is her YA contemporary, but I really enjoyed that. So hopefully I will also like this one, because yeah, I would like to keep this copy at least. Basically what I've decided to do, the reason I've kept both copies at the minute, is that if I really love it, I will keep this copy. If I enjoy it but it's not like something that I'm desperate to have a pretty version of, I can get rid of this one and keep the Waterstones one. If I really dislike it, I'll get rid of both, obviously, but we will see. Fingers crossed, and hopefully I will actually read it soon. Also, I do actually want to prioritize this one because I believe there will be a sequel coming out soon, and Illumicrate haven't said anything about doing a sequel for it yet, but I feel like this one was really popular because of how beautiful it is, so I feel like they probably will do a matching edition. And I don't want to get in the situation again where I bought the sequel without having read the first one, because I've done that way too many times already. I've got 4 more to talk about, and they're all ones that I was kind of anticipating coming out and then just for whatever reason didn't pick them up. I will say Waterstones has something to answer for a couple of these. The first one being one of those, because this one took a while for it to get to me, and by the time I got it, I'd kind of moved on to wanting to read something else. And this book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. So I actually don't know too much about this, but it's blurred by some authors that I really like. I've heard very good things about it. This edition is stunning. I pre-ordered it, and it came out right as Waterstones started having their issues with sending books out, so it did take a little bit longer than it should have done to get to me. I think I got it like a month after release date, and I'd sort of had it in my head that I was going to read it the month it came out, like I'd sort of factored it into reading plans. And then when it didn't come, I just kind of forgot about it and have not picked it up since. So hopefully by putting it on this list, it will encourage me to pick it up sooner rather than later. That's the same phrase I kept saying last year when I did one of these videos. I kept going, yeah, I'll read this sooner rather than later, and it just became very repetitive. So I'm sorry if you've heard that quite a few times already in this video. You're probably going to hear it again. The next one I don't think was a Waterstones issue, because I think I actually went and got this one in the shop. I think I just didn't end up picking it up. And the thing is, this one is, it's the third book I will have read by this author, and the first 2 I enjoyed, but there was like, I just wanted a little bit more from them. But the synopsis of this one and the reviews I've heard for this one sound really good, so I was really excited for it, and for some reason I haven't picked it up. I do know this one is actually getting a sequel though, so I'm hoping that that will inspire me to read it, because I will want to keep up before the sequel comes out. The book is Golden Boys. It's by Phil Stamper. So the first 2 books by this author are The Gravity of Us and As Far As You'll Take Me. I enjoyed The Gravity of Us. As Far As You'll Take Me I had a couple of issues with, but generally liked it. And like I said, with this author, it feels like I'm just waiting for him to write the book that I'm gonna love, because there's so much potential. I just haven't found like the right story of his yet. But this one sounded really fun. It's about 4 friends who live in a small town, and they're all queer, and they've not really had a chance to kind of express themselves and their identities because of where they live. And it's set over a summer, and it's about like the first summer that they do actually get to explore that, but they're not all together. I mean, saying that, it's giving me like slight Sisterhood of the Travelling Pants vibes, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. I loved that series growing up. And like I said, this one does have a sequel coming out. I think the sequel is about them graduating, from what I've seen of the front cover of it, and I'm hoping that I like this one enough to want to pick up the sequel. So fingers crossed I do actually read it soon. It might end up waiting until summer though, because it just feels like a summery book. Okay, so the next one is one that is on this list, but I am actually hoping to read it before the end of the year. I'm putting it on this list to be like, really, Chloe, you need to read this. And that book is another one that was partly because of the Waterstones delay why I didn't pick it up, because I planned to read it in August. I had it factored into my reading plans, and then it didn't come till the end of September, and by that point I was in a slump. And this is by an author that I have historically rated all their books 5 stars, so I didn't want to force myself to read something that could then affect my enjoyment of it. The book is Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the latest of her books that's set in the same world as like Evelyn Hugo, Daisy Jones and the Six, and Malibu Rising. They're all slightly connected, but you don't have to have read all of them. This one's about a tennis player, and I really love tennis, so I think I'm actually going to very much enjoy this. My sister's read it, and she did actually tell me I'll enjoy it more than she did, because they do go into the tennis quite a lot, and I'm like, I am here for that. That sounds great for me. But like I said, by the time I got it in September, I was slumping, and I really didn't want to potentially rate this lower than I would do, because I wasn't feeling the best about reading it. But I'm feeling better now. I'm actually doing really well with my reading, particularly this week. So this is going to go on my December TBR hopefully, and should, fingers crossed, have read it by the end of this year. But I still want to put it on this video just to like Chloe, actually read that. Do it. And then the last one is one that came in a book subscription box, but I was sort of wanting to get it anyway, so I was very excited when it said it was going to be in the subscription box. And then again, for some reason, no idea why, just did not pick it up. And that is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. So this is like a fantasy romance, but not like a dark fantasy romance like you sometimes think of when you hear that. I believe it's more whimsical, slight like rom-com type vibes to it, although I have heard that it is also painful. So, you know, I'm willing to see where it goes. I've heard good things about it from people that have read it. And like I said, I did just have my eyes on it and then for some reason didn't pick it up. It's described as House in the Cerulean Sea meets You've Got Mail, which, oh, it sounds so good. But for some reason I haven't read it, so can someone please hold me accountable and make sure I do read it in the near future? Thank you very much. Okay, so that is everything. That is the books that I am most angry at myself for not reading this year. There are definitely more that I could add to this list, but I tried to keep it like small enough. Those are the ones that are particularly stuck out from the ones that I hauled this year, so fingers crossed I do read them all soon. But that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. Let me know if you have any books that you've hauled this year that you are annoyed at yourself for not reading, and I will see you guys tomorrow with a new video. Bye.